picture this. You have the house, and sitting on top of the house was the cauldron. Why would the cauldron be on top of the house? Why would they put this big pot on the top of the house?
To store the water.
That was their water source, exactly. They collected the rainwater. They had no well. They had no water company that piped the water into your house like you have in your homes. No, it was a pot on top of the house. The rain would collect in the cauldron, and that was their water source. If it didn't rain, if it didn't rain, there would be no water. Yeah. So that's why rain was so important to them. I'll read this next paragraph, and then we'll take turns again. This cauldron he filled partly full of water, dipping it with a half gourd from an earthen jar that stood near. But he dipped cautiously, for water was precious. Then, after a hesitation, he suddenly lifted the jar and emptied all the water into the cauldron. This day he would bathe his whole body. Not since he was a child upon his mother's knee, since on his mother's knee had anyone looked upon his body. Today one would, and he would have it clean. So a poor farmer, where water is precious, but today's his wedding day, and he's bathing his full body because it has to be special for his wedding day. Okay, I think, would you read this next sentence for us? Starting right here.
Around the oven to the rear, and selecting a handful of the dry grass and stalks standing in the corner of the kitchen. He arranged it delicately in the mouth of the oven, making the most of every leaf. Then for an old flint and iron, he caught a flame and thrust it into the straw, and there was a blaze.
Very good. She did extremely well. He went around the oven to the rear, and selecting a handful of dry grass and stalks standing in the corner of the kitchen, he arranged it delicately. You know, when you build a fire, you have to get things just right. You put the little things at the bottom, and then you build it so that it will ignite. He arranged it delicately. He had to be very precise the way he put things, because he didn't want to waste any of his fuel. He arranged it delicately in the mouth of the oven, making the most of every leaf. Then, from an old flint, do you know what I mean by an old flint? You strike it to start the fire. No lighters. A flint. You take two pieces of flint and you make a spark. And when I was young, a very small boy, I would go camping with my grandfather, who was a great outdoorsman, and he taught me how to start a fire without matches. And we'd take little bits of dry grass, and then we would put larger pieces of leaves on the dry grass, and then a few little small twigs, and he'd make a pyramid of the twigs. But we would take the flint, and we would hold it so that the spark would ignite the grass. The grass would start to burn, then the leaf would burn, and then the small twigs would burn, and then we could put a log on the fire. An old flint and iron. He caught a flame, thrust it into the straw, and there was a blaze. The fire ignited. your turn with this sentence right here. This was.
This was the last morning he would have to light the fire. He had a little.
Oh, let's stop right there. Why would this morning be the last morning he would ever have to light the fire?
To light the fire because when the sun.
Why? What's going on here? Why will he never ever have to light a fire again after this morning? Think about it. Well, you know, we know that it is starting to be summer,
Yeah.
but you know, you have to light fires to cook. Why is he never going to have to light a fire again?
It's no need to use it.
Because why?
It's no need to use it because in the summertime.
Well, he'll still have to cook in the summertime. He's, huh? What? Why? He's getting married. He's getting married. And remember, this is not modern time. This is China 150 years ago. So he will be married today, and tomorrow morning, and every morning afterwards, it will be his wife's responsibility to light the fire. A different society than modern society today. This is the last morning he would have to light a fire. Toy, can you start the next sentence?
It every morning since his mother died 6 years before.
Okay, ma'am?
Has lit the fire.
Pour the water into a bowl and taking it into the room where his father sat on his bed, coughing and said, and frowning for the shoes upon the floor.
Okay, very good, very good. Ben?
Every morning for these 6 years, the old man had
Waited. Okay, I've got two. The old man had waited for his son
to bring into water to ease him of this morning coffee.
Okay, very good. Did extremely well. All right, Nook.
Now, father and son
Could rest.
there was a woman
Yeah, think about what's going on here now. This old, rural farming society. 6 years ago, what happened? What happened 6 years ago?
His mother.
The mother died.
Lit the fire.
And it was the mother's job to take care of the fire.
It's not fair.
So when the mother passed away, it became Wang Lung's job. And he, is rather happy about now having his wife that he will bring into the home today take care of this chore.
Yeah. How lucky.
Now his father and he could rest. They could sleep in the morning.
Yeah.
Let the new wife do all the work. There was a woman coming to the house. Let's see. Nook, your turn to read right here. Never again. Right here.
never again. Never again.
Wang Lang.
Summer and winter at the dawn to light.
Okay. Light the fire. Tessa?
He could die in his bed and wet, and he also would have a bowl of water brought to him, and if the earth were fruitful, there would be be 3 leaves in the water.
Okay, very good. Now, chop, finish.
Once in some years it was so
Okay, now, let's stop here and consider what we just read. There was a woman coming to the house. She's going to do all the work. At least in the house. They still have to take care of the fields and so on. Never again would Wang Lung have to rise summer and winter at dawn to light the fire. He could lie in his bed and wait and have a bowl of water brought to him. And if the earth were fruitful, that is, if the crops were good, he could have tea leaves in the water. A cup of tea, that's a luxury. Once, in some years, it was so. He's a young man, and he could barely remember the time when they were prosperous enough to afford tea leaves. So in the morning, he would just drink hot water, no tea. A very, very primitive way of life compared to what we're used to. Okay, we will stop there, and we'll have to remember, is this helpful to do this for pronunciation? Are we learning new vocabulary?